difficult day, so I thought I'd record to see if that helps. It's funny, when I first started recording vlogs or such as this or podcast episodes, it takes a bit of time for my voice to warm up, because if I'm spending time alone, then I'm not using my voice at all. So, and the last few days I've spent pretty much alone, so yeah, my voice always feels a bit gravelly and a bit, I think at the best of times, sometimes at the best of times it's hard to talk, but not having talked for a few days, that so I'm not feeling well. It's hard to expand on that, but I'll try. I guess it's been hard to get outside for some fresh air. There's been a couple of occasions today, and it may have been yesterday or the day before, where I got myself changed, ready to go out, but I just couldn't get myself to go outside. Today it was a bit more in regards to anxiety. In my living circumstances, I'm sort of living in, even though the space I'm in here, it's its own contained space, but I'm sharing the space with a householder in their garden. So I think I was just feeling very vulnerable and anxious, and not perhaps wanting or being able to handle a social interaction. So that was a barrier I could sense. And also I hadn't eaten as well, so I only had my sort of morning coffee. So I was feeling a bit weak, and sleep wasn't too great. So, and then also I wasn't sure where I wanted to go. I couldn't really. There's a park, a sort of bigger open spaced sort of park that's about a 40-minute walk away, and a large part of it's uphill, and I didn't feel like I had the energy to get there. And also I wasn't sure if I did expend the energy and the difficulty to get there, if it would be worth it, if I would stay there for long enough to make it worthwhile. So I couldn't really think of where to go. So as I was got changed, I kind of sat on the edge of my bed, and it's not too comfortable because there's like a wooden slat sort of, so but I just found myself sitting there just kind of in limbo, trying to either will myself to go outside, find enough of a motivation and reason. It was clear that I kind of felt like I needed to get outside because I'd been inside all day yesterday. and I know it wasn't healthy for me to stay indoors, but it wasn't enough for me to leave. I think with the anxiety, it was yeah, it's hard to describe the unwellness today. It's I guess I could use words as unclear. The mind feels unclear. It feels a bit fragmented, I guess, as well. So I've just been taking each part of the day a few minutes at a time. So I just had like a light sort of lunch. I didn't have much food in my fridge and cupboards, so kind of the last couple of days is sort of trying to make do on what I had. So for lunch I had some vegetarian sausages left in the freezer, 2 left, and I've had a few slices of bread left in the fridge, so I used 2 of those to toast and have those with the sausages and some ketchup. Probably too much ketchup, I can feel. Originally I was just going to have some peanut butter on toast, but I thought the sausages would perhaps fill me up for longer. I didn't really feel like having them, but so I watched a bit of a Ram Dass video this morning. I've been watching some the last couple of days, 2 or 3 days in the morning with my coffee, and there's often been a sense of deep peace when I'm there with the coffee, and just in the morning it's probably a mix of both things, of just me being sat down and the video itself sort of giving me the pointings I need to follow and to be present. But this morning it was just a bit too much for me to absorb, which is okay. It's just trying to acknowledge that. So I finished watching a couple of episodes of this show, which it's like a young adult show. It's called One of Us is Lying, and I thought I'd watch something different to what I usually watch, something a bit light. And I used to quite enjoy these kind of high school sort of shows sometimes. Like I think there was 13 Reasons Why. So I don't know if it's related to this one, but so just kind of put that on just to occupy myself in a sense. And I was trying my best also to be mindful of watching, not just, I guess with me feeling unwell, it's hard to get too lost in something. It's almost like a hum in the background. So I watched that, and not too long ago I watched some ASMR as well. I was finding my head was just, with the effort to try and go outside and not being able to, and just trying to accept that and not feeling too good about it, because I'm indoors when it's probably really healthy for me to be outside at some fresh air. So I try to watch some ASMR to try and soothe and calm myself down, and perhaps not calm myself down, but just maybe to soothe the pain or the unwellness. So I'm sure it helped on some level. I've downloaded a couple of more series as well on Netflix that I may watch in a little bit. I thought I'd maybe recording or break it up. Maybe after this, I may try and listen to the audiobook. Maybe give myself 10 minutes to listen to that, just to break up activities of not watching. Give myself a bit of a break, my eyes a break from watching, perhaps, from what I'm going to be doing later. Feels like something, it's what I'm able to do really, is just try and rest and perhaps have something on that will sort of distract or keep me occupied. And I think the series is like, the only thing that feels manageable. I do have to think about what to do for dinner tonight. I do have some dry pasta and a jar of pasta sauce, but I think I remember sort of making something similar last time, and it just was really, really bland. So I'm just wondering if I just need to add salt or some more. I've got some dry sort of mixed herbs and stuff, but just wondering if that will be appetizing, because I think it's probably a similar occasion where I didn't have much to eat, but I had some pasta, and I think I made it, and I just think I had a few mouthfuls and just couldn't eat anymore. So I'm not sure if I can get myself outside just to buy something. Doesn't look likely that I will. Just sensing my energy now. So maybe it would just be some pasta, perhaps. I guess there's a sense of feeling more unwell today, just not being able to interact with anyone, and on some days when I feel unwell, there's a thought of if like a family member wants to meet up for a walk, then often I think, okay, yes, I can. It almost sometimes helps to have someone to meet up with, sometimes to get myself outside, but I don't think I would have the energy to have an interaction. So it's hard to describe it. Everything's like underwater in a sense, so everything feels a bit dull, and everything feels like kind of floaty in that way. Not sure if it's related to dissociation. I think sometimes everything's very hazy, so it's hard to even make sense of what's happening. But there's a sense of just the mind like sort of floating, or things floating, and just not sure if there's a sense of just this sort of this kind of pressure that's shrinking my mind, which sounds strange to say. Feels like all of these sort of colourful descriptions are all going to sound very strange, because I'm almost describing illness or describing the feeling of being unwell. So it's probably no surprise that how else will it sound? But still I'm quite self-conscious of it. Yeah, so it feels like there's something, not a pressure that is a sharp pressure where something's got to be resolved, but just general weight that's kind of crushing in a sense. That's what it feels like. There's not much I feel like I can do about that, but just to try and remedy the movement, try to do something where it doesn't add anything or tax my mind even more, and it feels like it's going through on its own. So yeah, I've downloaded a couple of series. One's called Clickbait, and the other's called, I think it's called Marcella. I think that's how it's pronounced. It's a British sort of detective show. Not that I've been doing a lot of sort of post-reaction videos on the other channel. I still haven't uploaded the Awakenings video that I recorded, but I find when it's a series, it's almost too much to kind of do episode by episode recaps, or at the end of it, it's sometimes hard to remember everything that's happened, and it's a lot to kind of recap the whole kind of season. And I'm still sort of trying to find what I want to enjoy out of recording those things, not just sort of create a good post reaction of a show. I just want to like sort of align with and find what I enjoy out of it, so I'm not sort of relying on anything external, like it doesn't make a difference, how many people watch it and all of that stuff. It's just more about the enjoyment of the activity, of the enjoyment of doing it. So I'm just trying to find, and maybe there's nothing to find, maybe it's just a case of after I've watched something, if I feel I would like to record a reaction to it then, and I'm able to, then it will happen. I guess like the film Awakenings, it would just kind of, there was some substance there that I wanted to talk about. And a few of the other shows I've watched, such as One of Us is Lying, or I think I don't know if it's called Hypnotic, a movie, and there was a sense of I didn't really have much to say about them afterwards, so yeah, maybe I should approach it like that. So it doesn't, minimum pressure to have to kind of everything I watch to try and think, oh, this is like content I can use. I can record a reaction and have it as content and build that channel and content and all of that other stuff. That just adds pressure versus just the enjoying of an activity. So with this here, I'm not sure if I'd call it enjoying doing this, but there's some form of help by doing this. So some sort of positive thing of doing this, without the expectations of everything outside of doing the recording. So yeah, maybe there's a restless energy as well. I think part of this concoction I'm feeling, where it feels like I'm floating or things are underwater, and it's just all very, however that feeling is translated. I'm just trying to take care of the current moment as best as I can, or what's available to me. Trying to be aware of how long I sit as well, so I can kind of stand up, have some minutes of standing up. There was like a sort of mini health podcast I listened to a long while back, where it talked about the benefits of sort of standing, and how even, and also the unhealthiness of sitting for long periods. So kind of conscious of that. So what I sometimes do is I lift my laptop onto the kitchen counter and I stand up and continue watching that way, and then I want to sit back down again. I move it back to this like really mini table I've got here. And sometimes I record a vlog if I'm sitting on the floor. I've got this mini tripod I can put on there. So I may try and just be, if I am going to stay mostly indoors for the rest of the day, then just perhaps be conscious of the amount of time I'm sitting, and is there anything else I want to say? Perhaps I'm just trying to not avoid thoughts, but just be mindful of that the feelings I'm feeling is just right now. Sometimes the mind wants to think, oh, this is how things are going to be now. You know, you're kind of, when you reach different depths of unwellness, you think, oh, this is what the future is going to be like. But it's kind of doing my best not to sort of log into those thoughts and project about the future, even though things are seeming, on this sort of gradient of becoming more difficult, whether it's sort of social interaction or getting outside or managing myself and stuff like that. I will say that it's my mornings have taken a lot of effort, because I've been getting some areas of my skin that have been more like a little bit of a rash on them, so the doctor's given me some sort of shower cream to put on those areas, and also some sort of moisturising cream to add on afterwards. And I've got that psoriasis spray to put on, so it's almost forcing me to take a shower each day, which is quite difficult. I didn't realise how many, not that I'd regularly not shower, but there'd be regular occurrences where for a day or two I wouldn't shower, and now I'm kind of forced to shower every day, which is taking its toll. Like this morning, I was feeling, if for example I didn't have these medications to pull on, it'd be one of those days where I think, oh yeah, I won't shower today. I need kind of to make things as easy as possible for myself. So, but I kind of had to shower, and it was just it felt like a really arduous effort to do, to kind of put the medication on, which I'm struggling to do. I haven't done any my foot sort of rehab exercises as well. I said to myself, on the days that I kind of wash my hair, which was today, one of the days that I would just remember to do the foot exercises, but I just don't have it in me to do them, which sounds really like an excuse, or it's difficult because when I go to that podiatrist appointment in a couple of weeks, it just feels like it's useless almost to say that, oh yeah, I've just not been able to do that. And I can imagine them thinking, well, if you're not willing to help yourself, then what's the point of you sort of coming to this appointment? One thing is to say the pain has sort of migrated to a different area of the foot. It's now sort of at the point where the foot and ankle, top of the foot and ankle meet. So when the foot kind of hinges on that joint, the ankle, just below that. So I'm not sure the current exercises are, if I should still be doing them, or not sure if it's making things worse even, because of pain is in a different area now. But I guess sometimes you can get momentum with everything, even staying indoors. There's a momentum that gathers slowly that makes it harder to go against it. So same with if I was heading out every day for a walk, and then one of the days I was kind of indoors, I'd probably be more motivated to get outside for a walk, perhaps the habit of that. But I find even that sometimes is not sustainable. It's not like a solid sort of routine I can do, but just wanted to note the power of momentum. So I think I did go out a couple of days ago very briefly to pick up drop off that package. I think that was a couple of days ago. But for me, sometimes the memory, even if like I went out, even if I was to say I went out all day yesterday for a long period of time, if I don't go out the next day, then it can feel like sometimes like I've been indoors for a week. You kind of sometimes that momentum can just be washed away, or that sort of time that I pull in to do something. Sometimes it can, where usually you'd think that will bleed into the next day, and the next day to think, oh, okay, you've had some outdoor time, and not sure if that's clear what I'm trying to say, but I actually ended up watching this YouTube video of a nature walk. It was like a virtual nature walk. It wasn't that great because although the video was amazing in terms of it was like in this Canadian forest, but I think the person recording it muted the sound and just overlaid some bird sounds, and so it did feel quite fake a little bit. It didn't feel quite right. And there's another channel that I used to watch. It's called I think it's called Nomadic Ambience. I think when he records, or they record, it's with sound, so that's quite nice. You feel more sort of in that moment. So I may watch one of his videos or their videos. Might be good to do, because I felt like when I was watching the nature videos, it almost feels like I get some benefit from that, even though I'm not there with the nature, but just the views of that, it's better than nothing, I guess. And I found myself being soothed by that a little bit, like as if I was at the park. So maybe I can watch some more of that, and maybe some more ASMR in between the series episodes I watched this afternoon. That could be an idea. And then maybe some potential options of listening to some more of the audiobook, which I may start with listening to after this, to even do like 10 minutes or so. And again, sometimes momentum can try and use that to my advantage, where it's that old 5-minute rule mentioned before, when you can give yourself 5 minutes, and then quite often you can go more than that. So, or then not start it at all. So, and of course there's the option to stop after the 5 minutes, so it's not a pressurized activity. So may do that with the audiobook. Yeah, and sometimes there's a thought of, am I doing everything I can at the moment? Can I do better? And sometimes those thoughts are kind of transparent as well, because some ways it feels like I can't. And just trying to accept the day I'm having, really, because it can feel, sometimes it's hard to put it into perspective in terms of, other people having their days, and people, going outside or seeing people or going to coffee shops, and I don't know what I'm trying to say, but maybe, I guess, try not to get too down on myself about today, maybe, with the challenges I'm having, which is probably why there's a thought of, can I do better, or can I, but maybe this is just, everything I'm doing is what I'm able to do in current circumstances. I'm just trying, not to be too hard on myself for that. But it's easy to lose perspective on one's health, because I'm in this sort of what feels like a slow gradient, and I wouldn't want people I know in some ways who care about me to see me sort of struggle, or I guess there's a bit of a fear of how do they see me? Do they see the same thing, that I'm getting worse, or I don't know. So maybe I can just be open to what happens this afternoon. So I've got a few ideas of watching stuff and that, but not be completely closed off to heading outside, and not having an idea to head outside, just to kind of let this afternoon unfold. But maybe try and stay open. I think it will be good for me to try and get outside for a bit, and maybe in the evening, because it's not, I do think it's a real huge sunny afternoon now, so maybe there'll be less people in the park close by, and it might be a bit easier for me to quickly nip out for a bit. I'll see if that's possible, and again, not be hard on myself if I can't, but maybe just to try and just be open to all possibilities is a good thing that I'm able to try and do, to not be closed off to anything. That feels like a non-pressurized way of sort of managing that. So I think it's good to end this and stand up, do some standing, and listen to some of the audiobook, and then take things from there.